store for you. I hope you all had a chance to get some breakfast and coffee. Um, Thank you again for being here. We have a lot of exciting panels today on big data, healthcare, manufacturing, and so much more. We've got speakers here from Twitter, Chrysler, Blue Cross Blue Shield. We have keynotes, Governor Rick Snyder, CIO of Michigan, and Dr. Anne-Marie Shastri from Sakti 3. I'm going to pass it over to Gaithan to talk a little bit about TIE and what we're all doing here.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. So I hope that today every one of us gets something when we leave the venue. We have a huge list of big speakers who you can really connect to and grow your business. If you don't have one, you can start one from here. As you know, TIE is an organization which tries to build an entrepreneurial ecosystem. Our motto is fostering entrepreneurship globally. So TIE has 60 chapters worldwide, 11,000 members, and 2,500 charter members. TIE has this unique ecosystem where we have something called charter members who are successful entrepreneurs who are wanting to give back to the community, and also the people who want to start off their own stuff and really help the economy grow and build on innovation, on business, and basically, it's a lot of jobs that they create through their work, and I think it's a lot of even social building that they do through their work. So today we are here to really I would think this is a peak time where you can meet all your peers, you can find people who have similar interests with you, you can find your partners, you can find customers, or buyers, sellers, whatever. It's an open ground to you for promoting your business, and I would definitely request you to make the maximum benefit out of every single session that we have. We have special networking sessions, we have a job fair going on outside, so it's a big day, and I would welcome you again all. Also, TIE values the culture and arts, and also recognizes the entrepreneurial spirit required in those fields also. Tulika here is actually a best-selling novelist in Penguin. So welcome, Tulika. Nobody welcomed you.
Thank you.
And so here we start.
So on that note, we actually have a great entertainment portion later in the day, Healing Through Stress, with accomplished musicians, Jay Balan, Mark Stone, Dan, Vijay, Apurva, Shrikant Sahana. I hope you guys will be able to stay for that portion. I also wanted to mention that TIE embraces the broad spectrum of entrepreneurial vision by its members. Our executive director, Gaithan, is an entrepreneur himself, with a focus on social change and nonprofit. Currently, he is the co-founder of LabX Foundation that helps promote research and entrepreneurship in developing countries. We hope that you'll be able to join us this evening to hear more about the disruption and social change that's coming up in our near future when Dr. Anne-Marie Shastri talks about her business, Sakti 3, and on how batteries are going to be changing the way we live.
We also have the evening gala, which is, we have a huge lineup of artists and musicians and performers. But I think that's for the later. I think we should start with the main event of today. So I would like to introduce Rupesh Srivastav. He has been the president of TIE Detroit for last 3 or 4 years, and he's today the chair of TIECon 2014. Rupesh.
Thank you, Gaithan. Thank Tulika. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. So before I'm here to, obviously I'm honored to welcome Governor to speak today. But before that, I wanted to say thank you to all our volunteers who have put tremendous effort, to putting this show, and also all our sponsors who have, supported us for this event. I think we couldn't find anybody better than Governor to start this with his keynote, because this TIE is all about entrepreneurship. And we all know what has been done in Michigan for the last 4 years during governor's term for the last 4 years. You know, Michigan, which used to be one of the worst state, I think among between 40 and 50th in entrepreneurial spirit, has now reached out to among the top 5 state having an entrepreneurial spirit. Thank you very much. In 2014, Michigan has 66% jump in terms of venture capitalists funding the companies. And that's a huge news for all of you who are here, because we all need a lot of resources. And at the end, government has created so many resources, for entrepreneurs, be it, venture fund, be it mentorship, and many other resources. So we could not have anybody better than Governor to start this event as a keynote governor. It's truly an honor to have you here, and please.
Well, good morning. Everyone fired up this morning? Oh, now come on, you can be a little louder than that. I know this is not a shy group. I've spoken to TIE organization for about 5 years or so, at least. So it's always an honor to be with you, because I know this is an organization that gets things done, and you should be so proud. And let's congratulate Rupesh on so many years of leading this organization. Thank you so much for your one of the things I thought I'd share with you to start with, and then I want to talk about entrepreneurship in the whole state of Michigan, is I'm a proud entrepreneur myself. I've started companies, and I know how hard it is. It's one of the most challenging things and rewarding things in someone's life. So one of the things I've tried to do is actually bring entrepreneurship to the public sector. It is possible. And one of the key things to do that is changing the mindset about how our government works. Because one of the things I found when I became governor is too much of government was simply about taking money from someone and giving it to someone else. And that's wrong. A lot of it was stepping back to say, what's the vision for what government should be? And the vision I have is we're here to serve you. That's why we exist, is to give our customers, the citizens, great service, efficient, effective, and accountable government. And so as an entrepreneur, you have to have a vision. You have to have a set of values, and the values I live by is relentless positive action. Being very positive, not blaming or fighting with anyone, but staying focused on solving problems. And then a great entrepreneur stays focused on what's important. And that ties back into that last point. Fighting with people or blaming anyone doesn't solve any issue. I've tried to stay focused on what's the next problem, and be relentless in the pursuit of solutions, and it works. So it's great to see the principles that you're applying every day can apply to any part of your life. And I think we have a large long-term opportunity by actually saying entrepreneurship is something that belongs more in the public sector. And that's a discussion that we should have. But beyond that, we're really seeing the results in the state of Michigan. If you go back to 2009, we had the highest unemployment in the country. We had the largest drop in per capita income, personal income. Home values were plummeting. We were the only state that lost population. Where are we today, after just a few years? We've created nearly 300,000 private sector jobs. Number 1 in manufacturing jobs, number 4 in high-paying jobs. In terms of home values, just a couple weeks ago, a study came out that showed that we had the largest increase in home values in the United States was right here in Michigan. Income levels are coming back, although we still have people struggling, and we need to stay focused on solving that. And our population is growing again. The part of the population in particular that's important is keeping our young people here. And it's great to have some young people here. And we are starting to turn that around where we're seeing people stay, and we're actually seeing some come back, which is truly exciting. That was one of the things that drove me to run for governor. Sue and I, we have 3 wonderful college age or just out of college kids. We want to have a future in Michigan. So it's, with all this progress though, there's more to be done. And how do you grow an economy? Well, it starts with entrepreneurship. And that's why TIE is so important. You're at the forefront of doing that. And the issue is, how do you create an environment for entrepreneurship? And I appreciate Rupesh's comments. We've come a long way. Back in 2008, there was one study that showed our entrepreneurial climate in Michigan. We were ranked 41st in 2008. In 2013, we were ranked number 6th. And I appreciate his comment, we're going to end up being number 1. That's the direction. How do you do entrepreneurship, though, in terms of creating a climate? And this goes long before I was governor. I came up with my own analysis, and I've been living that. That was one of the things I got involved with people like Bouchon when we created Ann Arbor Spark back in the early 2000s, is 5 factors. The first one is you got to have talent. You got to have the people that have that inclination to go out and do this, and the skill sets to do it. And the good part is, in this state, we have a lot of wonderful people that can be great entrepreneurs or are great entrepreneurs. Again, just look around this room. But we need to foster that even more. And one of the things we need to do is really say, how do we find our serial CEOs? The people that have done more than one company. To believe it or not, that's among the most precious resource any place can have. Because they're the people that can teach other people. They're the best mentors in many cases. And we don't do a great job of actually trying to track how many serial CEOs we have, who they are, how they can tie into mentorship. And I bet, how many people here are serial CEOs? They have done more than one company. We've got a lot. You're one of the keys to our future, and we need to do a better job of identifying you and get you engaged even more. So talent is a key thing, and we need to feed that pipeline. A couple programs I'm really excited about is FIRST Robotics. What a great way to create entrepreneurs from the high school era. And is that important? Absolutely. How are we doing in Michigan? We're leading the country. I don't know if you've been involved in FIRST, but if you haven't, I encourage you to do so, particularly if you're in engineering at all. But also if marketing and business, because these are young people that come up and they actually compete with these robots in the spring, the winter and the spring of the year, and they do a business plan, and they come up with ideas, and they push them forward, and they have great competitions. It's like going to a rock concert. It's going to one of their competitions. But in Michigan, we're now number 1 in the country. We have more teams than any other state, including California. Last year, we added about 80 teams, which is more than the other 49 states combined. And we're on a path to go from 280 teams to 450 teams across Michigan. So no one in the country will be even close. And the cool part is if you look at the young people that do that, the likelihood they'll go into engineering moves from about 6% to about 40%. What a great opportunity. The second thing you need is capital. And it was funny, I got stopped coming in, so I had an entrepreneur say, we need more capital in Michigan. I said, I don't think I'll ever see an entrepreneur that won't say we need more capital. But we can use more. But if you look at how far we've come, and that was a comment, in venture capital, we've increased a lot in the last few years as nationally the number's gone down. But we're not stopping. I see more and more venture capital firms looking to Michigan. Again, the angel network needs to continue to be developed. We're seeing conventional financing come back in the marketplace. We're doing microloan programs now. And I encourage you to look at some of our microloan programs for those of you that are just getting started. So we're really working on that capital structure issue. Infrastructure. You need the infrastructure to do things. And when I say infrastructure, obviously we need to improve our roads, but if you're an entrepreneur, the infrastructure that quite often matters even more are, do we have attorneys, accountants, intellectual property attorneys? Do we have all those resources in our state to be able to support you appropriately? That's grown tremendously, and I think we are developing a strong infrastructure, but we need to keep working on that. One of the things I still want to see improved in addition to our roads is broadband and connectivity and how we use the web across all corners of the state of Michigan. Innovation. We need to have that kind of pool of innovation going on. And in Michigan, we're really lucky. We have 2 great assets. We actually are fortunate compared to any state in the nation. The first one is our research universities. We have tremendous research universities that literally are doing billions of dollars of research a year, that create patents. A number of our hospitals are doing good work now in terms of doing research, direct research that can apply. The other one that's a big area is our industrial R&D base. We have one of the largest industrial R&D bases in the nation. And it's the auto industry, but it's more. To give you some idea of scale though, about 70% of the R&D for the automotive industry happens right here in Michigan. 70%. It's almost $10 billion a year. Now the last one I put on my list of 5 is one I didn't have when I first moved back to Michigan, and it's culture. It's that spirit of taking risk. And when I say taking risk, you just don't go take on risk. That would be crazy. But if you're going to be an entrepreneur, if you're going to innovate, you have to be someone that knows how to manage risk. Because you never accomplish anything special if it's easy, or if it's just laying there. Somebody else would have already done it. So you have to learn that attitude to say, how do I take on the appropriate risk to be successful? And if I don't succeed the first time, how do I come back and do it again? Or understand how I can take those learnings and apply it to the next time so I can be successful. Because again, you never want to encourage failure. But the lesson I always remind people, it was the third Ford Motor Company that succeeded. The first two failed. So a lot of it is looking at the combination of all those features. Now the 2 or 3 things I'd ask of you, because again, I view you as a group that's a partner with me. A couple things we need to do. One is we have to market how entrepreneurial our state is better. We need to get word out about how we do entrepreneurship in Michigan. And we're seeing strong clusters really developing. If you go in Detroit, the Madison building area, that's full of entrepreneurship. If you go to Grand Rapids, Start Garden, they're doing some great things. In addition to Ann Arbor's got a long history. So we need to do a much better job of telling our story. Michiganders in general are very good at being innovative, at being creative, at doing great products. We kind of stink at marketing, folks. And that's something we need to turn around. We need to be louder and prouder about who we are, what we're doing, and we need to spread that word. I'll give you an easy illustration. The autonomous and connected vehicles. If I talk to you about autonomous cars, and if I went around this room, or I go out in the public and say, who's leading in autonomous cars? The most common answer I bet I would get would be Google. That's not true at all. The leader in autonomous vehicles is right here in Michigan. It's a whole series of companies. What they're investing and doing with autonomous vehicles dwarfs what Google's doing. But how many people know that? That's the kind of message we need to get out. We've started doing that more aggressively. We just held the ITS, the Intelligent Transport System World Congress here in Detroit, where we had 10,000 people from 60 countries seeing how we're the leader in that field. We need to do more of that. The second thing we need to do is better measurement. Again, who knows who our serial CEOs are? Who knows how many startups we're doing? Who knows how well we're succeeding? How many jobs you've created? And again, this organization keeps track of many good things, but we need to do this statewide. And I could use your partnership in getting that word out to say, how do we measure things better? Because the reason to measure things isn't to talk about failure, it's to measure success. Let's do that together. And the other one comes back to how I talked about FIRST Robotics, the last one. I don't have a great word for it yet, but it's almost how do you help nurture future entrepreneurs. Things like FIRST Robotics do that. Other programs, back into the high schools, even before. Because think about that. What really got you going to be an entrepreneur? Was it because you had a parent or family member that did it? That when you were young, you sort of saw what they did? Did you come up with some idea that some teacher supported or someone supported you in saying, why don't you take that to the next level? I bet most of you started becoming entrepreneurs before you ever became an entrepreneur. You were doing this earlier in your life. And so how do we nurture that? And how do we create that pipeline of people that are going to continue on that path and make that pipeline grow? So those are 3 things in particular I'd ask you to consider as you go through this conference today and as you come out of it. Here are huge opportunities. Because one thing I know about great entrepreneurs, we like to pass it on. It's great to be in an area where you can be proud of what you're doing, but you actually like to help other people. And you should be proud of that. So I appreciate the opportunity to come share some thoughts with you. Your organization is leading edge. Again, I need you to market yourself better, to be louder and prouder. We need to work on measurement. We need to work on nurturing a future pipeline. But together, Michigan is the comeback state. We're come back more than any other state during the Great Recession. And you are the key. Entrepreneurship is one of the true keys to accelerate that. And that's what I'm excited about for the future. For all the great things we've gotten done, I'm not complacent nor content with where we're at. In fact, I want to accelerate. I want to go faster and faster and faster because it's to the benefit of all of us and our kids. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
15 minutes for question and answers. I know Governor last time when he was at TIE, he said he was answering questions for almost 2 hours. So definitely we don't have 2 hours, we have 10 minutes for that. So I would say, Governor, it's awesome to have a governor who, I don't know how many you know who can talk so much about entrepreneurship, so much of innovation. So thanks for enlightening this group, Governor. So please, question and answer.
What a great speech in the morning. In terms of our growth, key in your leadership, to have a organic growth. What are we doing to attract some of the big brand name companies like Tesla, Facebook to open up in Michigan and make it a much cooler place to work and for our kids to hang in and stay in state?
Yeah, I think we're seeing a lot of that. Again, their headquarters aren't going to move. That's not how it works. But we're seeing they're opening up offices in our state. I mean, we've seen that over a number of years. Google came to Michigan. These other organizations are coming. Again, a lot of it is highlighting the talent that we have. The best draw to get places that are already established companies established someplace else to come here is when we promote how talented our people are. Because every company in the world is figuring out the most important asset they have is their talent. And they need to go where that great resource is. And the key on our behalf is to show we have so much talent they want to locate here. That goes back to when I was helping start Ann Arbor Spark. I wrote their business plan, and I actually put in there a talent position, essentially a talent VP that was like a community headhunter. And I was roundly criticized by economic development people around the country. They told me I was nuts. Why would you do that? Because this is a great example of innovation. So they told me I was crazy because they said, by putting that position in, all you're going to do is highlight you have great talent that is going to get hired away. So in fact, what you've done is create a position that's going to cause you to lose your most talented people. I said, I don't believe that. So we went ahead and did it. So what happened? If you go to the Ann Arbor area and ask them, what's been the largest single developer of attracting new business to the area? It's our talent. Because they'd come here, they'd start interviewing people and say, you don't have just one person, you have 5 people, you have 10 people, you have 20 people that get us really excited. We need to open an office here now. And that's what we're starting to see in Detroit because of the concentration of young professionals. So this is the thing about change the question and say, how do we actually make sure people know the most talented people with the right skills are right here?
Involved in mergers and acquisitions work, and I've seen so many, it seems to me, so many Michigan companies bought by others instead of being acquirers. And I'm wondering if there is a program in the state, or if there could be a program in the state to promote Michigan-based companies acquiring other companies and growing rather than seeing that go to other parent organizations.
Yeah, I appreciate the question. There's actually a lot of Michigan companies acquiring companies. That is quite active, but it goes both ways. One thing I'll tell you is one of the roles of government is not to do everything for everybody. So I appreciate your comment, but government shouldn't interfere in free enterprise. So my view is our role is to create an environment for success that encourages free enterprise. And again, as you see it, we have a lot of Michigan companies acquiring other companies, so it's going both directions, but that's not a great role for government to be involved in. We're not good at picking winners or losers or doing things like that. What we should stay focused in on is how do we create the best environment for talent for those 5 areas to really let that happen and let you guys go out and run great businesses and be successful. Sure.
Hello, Governor. I'm Dr. Tony Ingram. I'm the COO of Harmony Point Computer Training Center and Technology Company located in Chrysler House, downtown Detroit. We provide training for urban residents and certification of the 74,000 unfilled jobs in Michigan. What resources exist that could assist us in partnering with other employers in Michigan before we come today?
I'm sorry, in terms
What
of...
resources exist that could you recommend for us to engage in meeting investors and partners in moving our cause forward to certify urban residents to help fill the 74,000 unfilled jobs in Michigan?
Sure, in terms of urban residents and working on that, we have 2 or 3 programs. We have Community Ventures